Yo, a month ago, I didn't even have a voice. I was like, powered through though. We have, it feels like I'm in epic light right now. Like, the crowd looks really cool too. All right, let me get a shot of this. Yeah, it's really cool light. All right, let's do this. Jai, you ready? Good to go? All right. We have way less people than I thought, which is fine, right? We actually had a mission to double the amount of people from last time to this time. But I don't know what it is, time of year or just a weird coincidence. But everybody texted and they're like, I'm not coming. So it is what it is. We're a small, cool little elite group, and I'm just going to speed run this so that everybody gets out of here in good time. But thank you again for coming, because this is a cool little group. And I have my dream is to see a bunch of entrepreneurs come together and be able to share knowledge. I have a lot of business friends that are like my age, a little older, that I want to invite to and mix them in, but I wanted us to get our feet for a little bit and get some traction about sort of sharing knowledge together and just kind of seeing the group come together. But I was thinking about this, and these are the four kind of what I think the most important questions to ask about business. Does everybody have your notebooks? We're going to do a little fun little exercise to start. A little dream building exercise. Grab your notebook. I'll wait for them. All right. All right. No, thank you. That'd be good. Let me get rid of these sunglasses. All right, cool. So before I get into the four questions that I ask and just a little bit of information of what I think is really important about deciding what business to go into, let's frame this from the perspective of lifestyle design. I want you to take a minute with your piece of paper and dream with me. I want you to write down a line item list over 3 minutes, I'll say, of your dream life. What are the things in your dream life? Describe that dream life and give a dollar amount to it. So in other words, someone might be like, it's my dream to own a Lamborghini. Okay, that's X. Or it's my dream to have X type of house. Or it's my dream to travel. Like, write the things that you ultimately want in your, let's call it a wealthy lifestyle someday. This is the someday dream list. Write everything that you really actually want on there. Jai, where's your notebook? Got to write your dream life. Oh, you're doing it on there. Smart man. Two minutes. All right. Brave souls, who wrote something about a house? Good hands. Who wrote something about a car? Good hands. These are part of the American dream, okay? I'm going to walk you through quickly some of my dream list. Some of it's in the future and some of it's from the past. So, of course, you want a beautiful home to live in, right? Today, that's what used to be $500,000 home is $1 million, right? So, you're going to be paying something like $8,000. I'm describing the what I'll call a wealthy life. And, of course, worldwide, our middle class has a wealthy life. But I'm talking by American standards, a wealthy life, right? 2 very nice cars. Of course, you have your significant other, so a couple really nice cars. And then, think about like 2 really nice vacations per year, plus whatever fun you want. You're going to have to budget $3,000 a month. All these numbers were monthly numbers. So I'll call those 3 things kind of the typical American dream. And then branching out from there is where it starts to get to be more like a little bit more exotic lifestyle design. So who's brave and wants to say a couple of the items from your list? Anybody? Go, Lyric. Amazing. Oh, distribution, a platform where you are able to speak to millions. That's what you're saying. Cool. It's awesome. Go, Emery. Own multiple companies? Yes. Emma. Heck yeah. I love it. I love it. Say it again. Yes, multinational. That's amazing. Have options. Well, that's awesome. And you guys are already on the path of thinking more meaningfully. A couple about children and like things you want to achieve, not just things, right? Getting there. So here's more from my list. This is a little bit personal to me. Okay, so first, before we go there, our total so far, that list that I just added up, sort of the quasi-wealthy American dream, it's about $13,000 a month, which is $156,000 a year. You can get that with just a good job, right? You don't have to be an entrepreneur to have that. However, if you do that, then what did someone say to me is like, a salary is the drug that they give you to keep you coming back, right? Hopefully a good place. Like Votary, I don't think that way. I actually want people to rise up and achieve more and whatever. But I do see a lot of companies where they kind of want to keep you in your place, and the salary is the drug that they give you for that. So time freedom is not something that you have with a job. So here's more from my list. I would really love to have a vacation home or a winter home. Thank you for pulling that. I don't love the winters here. I want to get away. I want to have a place. For me, the idea of having, like you said, Emma, travel, one trip per quarter, like an adventure trip, that would be really epic for me. Like making memories. I'm so much more about experiences than things. The older I get, I'm just like want more and more really awesome experiences. So one trip per quarter, that sounds just about right to me. Every 3 months, go on a cool trip and adventure. You got to put money away for that. Okay. I would love to have a personal chef. I'd love to have a housekeeper. I'd love to have a gardener. I would love to actually have some staff, right? The idea of making healthy food that I don't have to make, that it's delicious and it's keeping me more healthy, that sounds awesome to me. So, and then of course there's the giving, saving, and investing. And if you really, like for me, the older I get, the less interested in things I am and the more interested in like seeing things become fruitful, which usually means people are they're like helping their lives change, whether it's philanthropically through giving or through actually starting new ventures and seeing people become empowered and we can do some some type of co-venture together. Like the idea of investing in people to me is becoming more and more attractive. So if you're going to live that, like if you're going to have that more wealthy lifestyle, you have to have enough money to, invest and actually lose it, and you're okay. Which means savings and investing has to be a big part of your percentage of adding this all up. So this lifestyle design thing, the most important thing between having a job and being an entrepreneur and building up this lifestyle is that you want time. Time is the most valuable thing that there is in life. If you have all the money and all the things and even good experiences, but you don't have time, you don't get to just decide what you want to do with your time, then you're not wealthy. The most specific metric for wealth and freedom is the freedom of time. Like, what can you do with your time? Could I stop working tomorrow and everything's okay and I get to decide what I want to do? That's one of the most important things to focus in on. And that should be what entrepreneurship takes you toward, not takes you away from, right? You don't want to, you're going to get buried for a while, but eventually you need to unbury. And a lot of times early entrepreneurs get stuck in that rat race and they're just like, do I own this business or does this business own me, right? And so it's really important to be intentional about that as you climb out. So the lifestyle design, we'll get to you, Lyric, no worries. The lifestyle design that I've just described, adding all that up, is about $53,000 a month or $636,000 a year. And to me, that is like everyone's different. This is just like a personal glimpse into my feelings of like what I want to do with travel and be able to invest, how much I want to invest, how much percentage of my portfolio do I want to invest and things like that. But it's actually really good to walk through an exercise of saying, well, what do I really want? And because then it's not this nebulous thing. It's not. It actually becomes a target, and it will change over time, and that's okay. But even just going through the exercise of thinking, what do I want? And this could seem very material to some, like, oh, why are you so focused on material things? But this is not that. This is like, yes, there are some things in there that to me seem awesome. Like I love the idea of getting away in the winter. But that's not really a material thing. That's like a life, like the experience of it, like a lifestyle design thing. The most important part of it is the exercise of saying, now this is concrete. Now I have something to aim toward, right? This isn't just like, oh, I want to be rich someday. Well, what does that mean? Right? What does that mean? What can you actually go after? And in books like Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, he really points out that those who become successful, they think about things. I don't want to call it manifesting because people talk about manifesting or whatever, but it really is true that the way God designed us is like we can actually what we think about is what we will naturally start to aim toward. You naturally start to go towards what you think about. In the gym the other day, I saw a sign that said, watch your thoughts. Be careful of your thoughts, because your thoughts will become words. Words will lead to action. Action becomes habits, and habits control your destiny. It's all kind of a ascending order. So $636,000 a year, here's the problem. That's going to automatically put you into a 50% tax bracket. So what you thought you needed at $636,000 for that lifestyle, you actually have to now double that. You have to double that amount of money in order to have that lifestyle. Unless you fund that lifestyle through your business. This is the financial education that I think everybody needs to get. Is like all of that we described, everything that is like the chef, the trips, the everything, they can all be business expenses. And what do I mean by that? It means your business is paying for it, it becomes a write-off, and the business ends up paying you less. Let's say your business makes $636,000 a year. It had the money. It paid for all those things, the trips, because and there's many reasons that you can add up to make sure that those are business expenses. Shoot one video on that trip, and it's part of your content, and it's a business expense. The clothes that you wear for the video, whatever you're making, you can argue that that is actually part of your business. It's a business expense. I believe that we have to be, and this is me, some tax attorneys and accountants, and I'm not a tax attorney, I'm not an accountant. You'd have to talk to those people for sure. But I'm a little bit more aggressive about this. Like, I'm actually looking for ways to move away from this mentality that's like, no, the government, they get to say what you have to give them. Well, actually, I get to say what is a business expense, right? So if you learn the game, they play the game. So business expenses can be these trips. They can be, of course, they can be the staff, like your chef or your housekeeper or your gardener. For sure, this property somewhere else for a winter could be a business expense. You can buy it from the business. Not only that, you could Airbnb it and get it all the way down to where it costs you nothing or maybe makes you money. Smart through the business is what actually funds the lifestyle that you're looking for. All right, so that's how you can actually not have to do $1.3 million a year. You could actually go with this $636,000 a year lifestyle design, just hypothetical that I've written up here. Now, let's talk about the more appropriate question is like, how would you ever get to $53,000 a month? Who has any ideas for how to get to $53,000 a month? Emma. I like it. What kind of passive income? What kind? Selling stuff online. Yep. I dig it. Anybody else? I dig it. Say again? Complexes like real estate? Yeah, rental income? Totally. So like, I agree with all that. Here's 4 critical questions that I ask when I'm thinking about leaning into a business. Everything you guys just described, passive income and all of it, it's just all business. It's just different types of businesses, right? And most wealthy people own more than one business. It doesn't mean, like usually there's a one business that gets most of their attention. So that's why people start talking about passive income, like there's real estate income and there's different things. Real estate's really, really special because the IRS has written the rules around real estate. Like the real estate is the backbone of our economy. So most of the tax incentives that are out there are through real estate. If you're wealthy and you don't own real estate, you pay a buttload of taxes. But if you do own real estate, you can pretty much push your taxes down to almost zero. And that's just the beauty of real estate. But here's 4 critical questions that I think to any business or any passive income stream or anything. Number 1, Is it high margin? A lot of people do not think about the margins when they're thinking about starting a business. Second, this is, to me, very important. You won't get out of bed and do this business month over month or year after year if you don't find it to be meaningful or fun. So that's why I think, will I enjoy it is the final thing there. Is it meaningful? Will I enjoy it? And I should have put this in a different order. And then finally, can it be recurring? Can it be recurring? Now let me just tell you something about this. Moving into Votary, or before Votary, I worked for my father's company, Benchmark Media Systems, and we manufactured professional audio equipment. Really great equipment. Sold it to recording studios and like home hi-fi systems, home theater systems and stuff. Awesome gear. Sometimes sales were up, sometimes sales were down. And that's exactly the same way it's been forever with Votary. Sometimes sales are up, sometimes sales are down. Very, very difficult to plan around. Very difficult to plan around. You have to kind of take the average of the last however months to know kind of where you're at and stow the money away when you're on the mountain so that you have it when you're in the valley, right? So reoccurring revenue, this is magical. And I have personally not experienced much of it other than rents. I've been a landlord multiple times in my life. Rent is a good reoccurring income. But there's a lot of other ways of getting reoccurring income now in our modern economy that are really special and worth looking into. So these 4 things. Margin. Margin is the percentage of money you keep, in case anybody didn't know what margin was. So like take this example of a retail clothing shop. Different if you're selling stuff online. Love to actually know Mackenzie's numbers about boutique clothing. But when I've like spoken to other clothing shops, the best that I've ever heard them do with like brand new clothing is 25% margin. That means to get that $53,000 a month that we're talking about, $53,000 is 25% of $212K. So you're selling $212K worth of merchandise to keep $53K in that month. Right? That's actually tough. That's a tough business. As opposed to something like an e-learning course with this top G, where his margins are somewhere around 90%. Because you make this course, you put a bit of time and energy into it, and it becomes this asset that can just pay you over and 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 over. Okay, so $53,000 of that margin is only, you only have to sell 59,000 in order to keep 53,000, right? So that's like comparing 2 different business models. Oh, you want it? Go ahead. Just kind of an extreme comparison. Now I'll tell you a little bit about Votary and my father's company, which my siblings and I inherited. We try to keep 75%. We're not always able to do it. Thank God that we are able to get that in video production, because that's the only way we're able to ride through the low times, is that there's enough profit put aside. Because like I said, the ups and downs are crazy. So some months I might be getting like 100K in, and the next month it's like 35K. It's very difficult to plan around, so I have to average, right? The holy grail is finding a business where you have reoccurring revenue, like a software as a service, like retainer agency, online academy, or even like automatically ordered consumables or something like that. Like there's companies that sell just like lightbulbs.com or toiletpaper.com or whatever. It's like, this is going to ship to your house over and over and over, and you're just like on auto order, right? That's reoccurring too, right? So you want reoccurring plus high margin. That's the holy grail. Really high margin and reoccurring, right? How to get there? If you need $53,000 a month, that's, to many people that feels like impossible, but I know you guys are smart and you have vision and you're enthusiastic, and so you don't feel like it's impossible. 10 clients at $5K, that's $50,000 a month. 10 clients is not hard to get. If you have a service that you can charge $5,000. $5,000 a month is still a lot of money. But it's not. It's very normal for like commercial real estate. We pay more than $5,000 to be in here each month. So a social media marketing agency, you could do well enough to where people could retain your services for $5,000 a month. Design agency, I recently watched a video by Design Joy. He's a designer like Emma is, a graphic designer, really top high-end graphic designer, but his time for one-offs. People have to purchase a subscription for $5,000 a month. And here's how his model works. You can actually get him to create however many graphics you want in that $5,000 a month. There is no contract. You can pause at any time or stop at any time. Thank you. But he will only work on one project at a time. So there's a queue. So if I want a website or if I want a logo or something like that, I put it in the queue. He works on it. He guarantees a 2-day turnaround, and he's good. So people love what he's given them. And sometimes people get through 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 projects in a month, and they made their $5,000 a month worth it. But he has roughly 20 clients at any given time paying that $5,000 a month, and it works out to where some people are utilizing it and some people aren't. But all in, he's like $1.2 million a year with no employees, just him, and it's reoccurring revenue. Now people do fall off, but new people come on, and that's going to be how it is. Like nothing is truly reoccurring. There's always attrition and ebb and flow, but the peaks and valleys are a little closer together on a reoccurring model versus like hunt and kill like Votary has. Other ones, we were talking about this earlier, and many small businesses are so nervous about AI that they're like, there's this pent up demand. There's a thing inside them that says bandwagon. I figure out how to leverage AI, and honestly, most people don't know how to do it. They're just like, should I use a chat bot? Do I need a custom app that uses AI in my, they just very difficult connecting the dots around AI. So people who are savvy to it, agency, the beautiful thing about an agency is you can sell it first and then do it, right? You don't have to buy any inventory for anything. You just, you have an idea, you go out there, you find a customer, you fill for them. So that's like a good reason to look carefully at an agency model. I think there's a huge opportunity for AI automation. Like it's wild how big